If you run a marketing agency or an SMMA or an online business and you service local businesses, then you know one of the absolute most difficult things to do is to actually find and get a hold of qualified customers who are ready to buy your service. One of the best, absolute best tools that we've used for this in our own 7-figure marketing agency that is an award-winning agency down in the LA area, Customer Creatives, and the hundreds of other agencies we've trained has been LinkedIn, but not just for what you think, not just for what every other person on the market is using it for. We actually have unique ways of using it and then leveraging it to find our perfect clients on every other platform for organic outreach and for ads. The other day I did a free training exactly on this, breaking it down step by step, showing you all the tools, showing you the messaging we use to send out, and putting it all together for you so that you can turn your LinkedIn into a lead generating machine. So without further ado, let's dive in. This is how to turn your LinkedIn into a client producing machine, how to find your perfect clients on demand so that you can grow your business. Let's get shit done. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to leverage a specific social media platform. This specific social media platform is going to be LinkedIn. Our company, both our agency and our coaching program, always ends up tapping back into the LinkedIn well for a multitude of reasons. Okay, why is it such a good platform for generating leads, quality conversations? It is amazing because of the targeting options you can do. It is amazing because people basically leverage this platform as a CV, as a resume, right? Which means drilling down into specific job types, specific niche areas, owners of certain things, sales reps in certain places, all of these things you might want to have for your targeting, for your all kinds of things on here, right? LinkedIn has that because people are more actively presenting and giving that data to them than they are the other platforms. And so what we normally use it for is 3 things that I want to go over for you today. So we're going to talk about how to turn the LinkedIn platform, your LinkedIn profile, into a customer generating machine for your agencies. Okay. And that's going to come down to 3 main things. Those 3 main things are outreach, using LinkedIn to do outreach and talk to people. 2, using LinkedIn to simultaneously create a list that you can scrape and create cold emails from. And then finally, the last thing is going to be leveraging those lists that you scrape to create a super powered targeting metric on Facebook, whether that's for yourself or for your clients. So let's dive into this a little bit. Okay. The number 1 way to leverage LinkedIn on here is going to be through outreach. Okay. And so all of our GST students, all of our inner circle people, actually, Kenzel, look at this. I'm using you as an example. So I got your script up here. So this will be good for you. Right? We'll give everybody a customized outreach script for everything from cold DMing, active inbounds, all the way to LinkedIn, cold email templates, all this kind of stuff, right? And so leveraging something like this and connecting it with a tool, specifically, we use this linked helper too. There's also things like Ulink that you can use for this. There's stuff like this that I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about snove.io today, but that can also do outreach on there. But really, main thing you want to have is having this thing right here, linked helper 2, because it has the ability to A, send out automated connections, B, send out messages to those automated connections, and C, be able to send out a secondary thing if they reply. And so why are we trying to automate a lot of that at the beginning? It's because we're trying to get as many of these conversations going as possible. And so you'll see in these outreach scripts, right? One thing over here for the cold DMs is we give people a multitude. So this is, I think, 10 different openers, okay? What are we doing here? They're niche specific. They have offer specific stuff in here, but we're really just trying to see, direct offers. Are they working better? Vague questions to start a conversation, or referring to their profiles, going to their LinkedIn profile and saying something like, hey, I see that you have content on this, or I see you worked at these specific places, or I see you had these as recommendations, right? It allows you to see if those pieces of conversations are going to work. So what I'm trying to do here, again, outreach. Right? If I have a niche, right? Say I'm Kenzel and I have a niche that I want to go after contractor. So I say I'm a general contractor. Okay. These are the people. These are the niche that I want to go after in my business. I want to find these people and I need a place to go to actually go and get these as leads. Cool. So I go and I type in general contractor. All right. And what I really want to do is, I'm Canadian. So I want to do Canadian and maybe the United States because I like their dollar more. I'm like, okay, let's look at this. We have 114 leads. It's like Bill Gates spent 20 years and however many billions of dollars building you a database of 100,000 plus of your perfect client. So you go down here, you look through here, you say, okay, builder, general contractor, looks like a pretty good list, right? So now doing this, you can do three things all at once. All the three things that I'm talking about, that is this quote unquote lead machine that we're talking about, comes from this. You can do outreach. So you use a tool such as this LinkedIn helper right here. Okay. And what you're going to be doing is automating your outreach. That tool and the other tools like it, like Ulink and the other stuff, you would then click this on and it will go connect all the way down through here. And it will also send messages. Now you used to be able to blast these things to the end of time. You used to be able to literally send thousands of messages a day. You used to be able to do all this kind of stuff. Now it's capped at about 100 a day, and you really got to ramp that up to it. So what I'm saying here is you don't really want that to be the only thing you're doing. So while it runs, okay, you're letting it run, you're letting it do its connections. You want to do it every day. You want to be monitoring for replies. My inbox is probably a mess, all this shit in here, right? Monitoring for replies, seeing what's going on in here, answering people, and having a strategy. Now, this script over here that I'm showing you that we give to Canzel, it's really all about what's the intro, what's the follow-up, what's the actual close, okay? How do we get them to actually do the close? Or over here, right? A quick conversation to get them into an actual sales call. Now, this is about getting sales call. This is about asking, hey, cool, you guys got this, want to see your website. We work with contractors that do this. Do you take that on? You guys in growth mode right now, got a weird question. If you had a certain amount of things, scary offer, would you be able to close those? Cool. Would you be against a conversation about how we would make that happen? Very direct, right? The other way that we've leveraged LinkedIn conversations before is to build our communities. So we have two major things that we use for evaluators, right? And evaluators, if you're thinking of your flywheel, what you want for evaluators is somewhere free that you can send people who aren't yet ready to buy or still need to get to know, like, and trust you. For us, that's our groups. We have two of them. Our 12,000 person group, that's the GST group. A group that we acquired when we acquired Nick Robbins' company, that's about 8,000 people. And then there are YouTube channels that we have as well. And so we'll leverage this to send, instead of even trying to have conversations, like this is a conversation part for LinkedIn, right? Instead of even trying to have a conversation and book a call and do all this kind of stuff, we will just use the automation to send people a quick intro to a training or some kind of a core thing we have to get them to join the YouTube channel or get them to join the Facebook group. And that has helped us be able to significantly increase our Facebook group stuff, especially when we've done it that way. The second thing you do, right? So number one, we talked about what is a LinkedIn lead machine? It's outreach, being able to have conversations with extraordinarily targeted people who are in the niche that you can present your offer to using conversation or drive them from these LinkedIn searches to your community. That's part one of the lead machine. Part two of turning LinkedIn into a lead machine is understanding that every one of these searches you do, general contractor, roofer, however many of these contracting type things you want to do, you can also use tools such as Snove.io, and it will actually find and extract prospects for you from these individual searches. And so what you're doing now is you're saying, cool, I want to take all these people that were found on this page, I want to save them to a list. And I already did this, I think, exact thing. And so it takes you to Snove.io over here, skip all this, right? And it will actually extract their email and name for you. So then it will also tell you red, meaning email address is not valid, or green, it is valid. And you also have a orange one here for maybe it does, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You do whatever you want with it, right? So this tells us, cool, what can we do with this? So now, again, we're talking about lead machine here. So now we can have automated conversations on LinkedIn using Linked Helper 2 or Ulink or one of those other automation tools. Simultaneously, while that's running, we can have cold email being sent by simply clicking over and scraping, do 5 of these scrapes and take 10 minutes a day. You've got yourself 50 emails that you can plug them into, okay? And then you come back over here and you use anything that's responding to your automations. You can talk to them through here. Anybody that's responding to your emails, you call them right away, and you've got leads, you've got clients, you've got conversations. And guess what happens? The magical thing is every single day that you're doing this, what's happening? You're building momentum, right? It's the same thing as anything else. I always refer back to the book, Good to Great by Jim Collins. Okay, it's a book I have right up there above my head on a shelf all the time. I reread it probably once a year because it's got some good business knowledge in it. But one of the best concepts in there is when he talks about his version of a flywheel, which is the giant metal thing that's in old factories. Okay. Just a giant, heavy fucking metal, excuse my French, wheel. Okay. And what happens is he talks about how business owners are often like people who would have to push that wheel. So you'll come in and you'll see somebody like me who might be a few steps or a few chapters ahead of you, push that wheel and it spins and spins and spins. And you think to yourself, wow, look at how strong Cody is. Look at how powerful he is. But what you're not seeing is that in order to get that, we had to build momentum. And we built momentum by pushing in one direction hundreds, if not thousands of times to get that thing to start moving like that. Had you come up to me in the beginning, had you found me earlier on in my journey, earlier on in the book, then you would notice that it was me struggling to no end to push that to move it even an inch. And that it took me pushing it over and over and over and over and over again to build that momentum in one direction to eventually achieve that success. And so that's what we need you to do here. When we're talking about a machine, it's this kind of stuff. What are you doing by doing this every day? The first day, you might do your automations. And then all of a sudden, those automations get you maybe one conversation, or maybe nobody replies, or even accepts your connection request, or actually replies to your cold email or does anything. And this is usually the difference maker here, guys, between the people who fail and the people who succeed. You know, a lot of people think that the people who succeed had some magic formula and they were just better at it than anybody else. But the truth of the matter that I have found, being surrounded by lots of people who both fail and make it to the next level, is most of the time the people who succeed are just the ones who understood that that first push was really heavy, maybe even sucked, and it takes a lot more pushing in that one direction to get to success. They executed through the failures, and they didn't give up just because the first couple of pushes were heavy. They didn't give up because the first couple of automations they did with LinkedIn didn't happen to return an immediate conversation. Nobody made a sale in the first couple of days, because as you do 100 more automations a day based on the limit, you scrape 50 more cold emails a day to send. What's happening? Well, tomorrow now there's 100 emails that have gone out. The next day there's 150. The next day you've sent 500 different connection requests and messages automated on LinkedIn, and you've also got 200 to 250 cold emails. What's likely to happen is all of a sudden you start getting some responses from a few days ago, one response from yesterday, a couple from today. And now all those days are adding up to, hey, look at that. I've got a dozen prospects communicating with me. I've got 8 different people who have responded to my cold emails and booked calls with me. And because I've continuously pushed this and fueled the machine, we have to think about this. What are we talking about today? We're talking about creating a LinkedIn lead machine for your agency. Well, putting fuel, putting gasoline in the car so that it drives is you doing this shit every single day. It's you going out and doing the automation on here every day and scraping the emails every day and sending it and making adjustments to your script, adjustments to what you're actually saying based on what you're trying to accomplish. So one other tool that I wanted to kind of just hover over, guys, right? So we're using things like Linked Helper or Ulink to send messages, Snove.io as an extension, or there's 100 other of these too. I like this one, but it doesn't have to be this one, to scrape emails and grab whatever they can find, right? As soon as you've grabbed them, you can go ahead and export them, right? Once you've got that, and you can use tools like GHL. I personally don't like to use my GHL account for cold email. I prefer to use Woodpecker or something like that, just as a separate standalone thing with burner domains and all that kind of stuff, so that it doesn't affect my GHL email standing and all that. Then the third thing that magically happens is once you've done this for a little while, all of a sudden you're going to find yourself with a list of your perfect clients. You're scraping 50 a day. 10 days in, you've got a list of 500. By the end of a month, you've got 1,500. Couple of months, you've got a few thousand. If you're ramping up your scraping, you can get to 5,000, 10,000 pretty quickly doing stuff like that. You know what that works really well as? Number 3 for your LinkedIn lead generation machine is leveraging that audience now on Facebook ads. Something that we teach a lot inside of the program is that you can get people on platforms like Fiverr. You can scrape email. You can get them to do this for you, B2B email scraping on LinkedIn, and they will actually do it for you. If you feel a little too lazy to do it yourself, they will scrape these LinkedIn emails for you using tools like this. But if you don't want to do it, you don't want to pay them to do it, you can do it yourself. And what ends up happening is once you get to a list of about 20,000, you can target those directly on Facebook. Now, those leads are going to be pretty costly, but if you do the correct scary offer type stuff, then you'll be able to get them for like $60 to $100 a lead. And most of them will book directly into your account, and you'll be able to close a lot of them. We're seeing most people be able to close them because they're your perfect people. Because look, again, LinkedIn has all of these people's job titles. You can scrape specifically who you want and then target those direct people on Facebook. Normally, the emails they find will be attached to profiles. We have about a 70 to 80% match rate ourselves when we do this kind of stuff on here. And so now you can do cold outreach, you can do cold email, and once you get a couple of clients from those two parts of your lead generation machine, you can leverage that into paid ads and create the next level. Back to the LinkedIn lead generation machine, guys. What are we talking about? 3 steps: outreach, cold email, Facebook ads, and the most important thing, momentum, right? What are we trying to do the most with our business? It's create momentum. It's do the thing. Every day you're going to wake up and you're going to have 2 options, especially those of you who are working with GHL, those of you who are doing high level. Your 2 options are going to be watch another Sean video and try to figure out the latest feature you're supposed to build and figure that that'll be the thing that sells. And oh my God, I can't wait until that makes me a millionaire. Or B, prospect and go learn how to sell the thing you've got. Because the thing that's 70% as perfect as you wanted it to be before you could finally sell it is probably good enough to get out there and teach you the hardest lesson of all, which is how am I going to have my next conversation? Where am I going to make my next sale from? And how am I going to put this all together? So hopefully that was helpful, guys. Is that good? I'll see you guys next time and we'll get more shit done. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.